If you're in your 20s right now, I got really good news for you, man. Right now, in the next 10 years, before you hit your 30s, you can really change the trajectory of your life, your family's life. And I kind of want to give you just the ground rules or a roadmap on how to do that. Right now, tech is going to be somewhat of a shortcut, a cheat code to really get to the money, to really change your family tree, to really do what you need to do, right? Whether you want to work remotely, whether you want to work in an office environment, this is the time. I'm gonna really show you, how to use your 20s to break into tech and stack certifications and just build a career that gives you options instead of giving you, a bunch of excuses. You probably watch, your parents work. They're probably working right now. They breaking their backs, they busting their butts to, provide for you. And they may not even be able to provide the things that you wanted. Hopefully you got everything that you needed, but you may have not, got everything, that you want. And I want, a better path for you. And the reason I'm talking to, you know, 20 somethings right now is because a lot of people that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, it's a wrap. They don't have any optimism. They don't have any hope. A lot of times they're absolutely hopeless. And this specifically, since you guys are literally, the future, I want to talk to you specifically because, like I said, old people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, it's just hard for them to make that change, right? And a lot of times it's hard for them to make that change because they're scared to take a L. Because taking an L when you 21 is a lot different from taking an L when you 41 or 51, right? So, as always, this is not a just sit by, listen to type of podcast. I want you to literally take down notes and I want you to execute as soon as possible. Basically, by the time you are in your 40s, I want you to already be winning, right? And not just kind of winning, not just, oh, I can buy whatever I want to eat or I can fly here and take a vacation, for 2 weeks. I want you to really have full control, full autonomy over your future, and you can make it happen. You have advantages, you have so much more opportunities than people, right? And also, another thing is, I don't know what the hell you guys are called. I don't know if you guys are Gen Z or Alpha, whatever you are, right? Kids that were born in the 2000s, right? You guys have a superpower, right? You were born with technology, social media, all this type of stuff. So you know how to harness it, you know how to leverage it, right? A lot of people that are older, they still don't know how to use social media. When they get on TikTok, when they get on Instagram, when they get on these, they look weird. They don't know how to use it, or they use it, outdated stuff. They think they're on Facebook, but they're on TikTok, so on and so forth, right? So the first thing I kind of want to give you is this is the time, right? Pre kids, maybe, pre marriage, pre any responsibilities, true responsibilities, right? Or even if you have those things, this is cool. Right now, with the age that you are, right now is the time to take risks. That's the first thing. Take the risk right now. You do not want to be in your 40s, even late 30s, trying to just try stuff, right? Doing new stuff. Because right now, you can take a L, you can fail, but you can still have time to recover, right? And another thing is you won't have regrets, right? That's one of the biggest things about me. Most things, I tried and did, but that's one of the biggest things, one of the biggest regrets that I have is not doing things faster, procrastinating, not executing, having all these ideas. You have time, right? You have time to knock all these things out. Me, being 40 years old, I've accomplished, a few things here and there. But if I had the time that you have, the dedication, the mindset. And on top of this is that you can actually do it, right? I work with people that are my age and older, work with people in their 30s, work with people in their 20s. I love working with younger people because, like I said, you have the optimism. The world hasn't, whooped your ass, right? You not hopeless, and you can actually do it. Now, the only thing is this: you have way more distractions than I had waking up or growing up. I'm still at the point to where I use social media and all that type of stuff, but it doesn't have I didn't grow up with it. It doesn't have like a grass on me where I just doom scroll, 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 scroll. Right. So you got to make sure that you're using social media, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, TikTok. You got to make sure that you're using that stuff and it's not using you. Right. You can look at people, whether it's Master IT on TikTok or wherever, that's going to help you get to where you want to get to. And tech, I'm telling you, you don't have to start a business. You don't have to go get a degree. Tech is the foundation to, six figure and, millionaire opportunities if you do it right. Tech really gives you just a way to build your skill set, and it compounds over time, right? Tech wages aren't going down; they're only going up, especially for people that are in specialized fields. So here's a couple stats for you. Number one, people who start their tech careers in their 20s have an average lifetime earning potential of $500,000 higher, over $500,000 higher than those who switch later. And this is from Burning Glass, which is an institute that goes through job reports and stuff like that, right? And right now, you think that you got a lot of time, right? And I'm telling you, man, especially once you have kids, goals, all this time goes by so fast. So I'm not telling you, I'm not one of them guys. I'm not telling you, oh, girls are a distraction or boys are a distraction or don't go out and party. I'm not saying none of that because you need that as well, right? You got to have a balance. You got to actually live a damn life because you don't want to have the reverse to where, yeah, I'm grinding, 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 grinding. And then you get 40 years old, ain't never lived life, ain't never did nothing, and you try and have a second childhood. So you got to balance it out, right? But don't be partying so much or chasing girls or chasing guys and chasing fun that you miss out on a big opportunity, right? So that's a minimum, right? That's on average $500,000 more. $500,000 more people starting in their 20s because by the time you get to your 40s, you already making six figures plus easy, right? And I'm gonna tell you this. Another thing I always stress is that make sure that you're listening to the right people, right? Make sure that you're listening to people that have accomplished, what you're trying to accomplish. If it's somebody, I've been in tech for 20 years and they're making $60,000-$70,000 a year, don't listen to them. They I don't know what road they took, but they definitely took a wrong turn, right? Another thing is this. According to a study that Cornell did in 2022, 81% of workers regret not making career moves earlier. And I don't think that's just for careers, it's just in general, right? Procrastination hasn't helped anybody ever. Procrastination is, instead of just going after it, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Procrastination has never helped me in my life, right? I'm not talking about being strategic. I'm not talking about waiting for the right opportunity. I'm talking about literally, I know I need to do this, but I'm not going to do it, right? TikTok is more important. YouTube is more important. College football is more important. The fight is more important. Whatever it is more important, right? So another big thing or another big example of this, right? Bill Gates, the guy that founded Microsoft, the guy that is one of the richest men in the world, right? I don't know if he's a trillionaire. He might be a trillionaire. I'm not sure, but I know he has an ass of money, way more money than me, you, and our whole family tree put together. He actually dropped out of Harvard at 20 when he started Microsoft, right? He was 20 years old, right? Now imagine if he would have got a job, kept on rocking out, and then started into his 40s. So many other companies were built. His competition would have dominated because he didn't actually do what he was supposed to do. Guess how old Mark Zuckerberg was when he started Facebook? He wasn't even in his 20s. He was 19. Once again, he would have got beat out by so much stuff came out. Snap, TikTok, some other Vine, a bunch of other stuff came out, after Facebook or MySpace, which is super old, might have contained or remained dominant if he never came out with Facebook, right? In your 20s, you got to be bold, man. You got to go after it in your 20s because you have a bunch. Look at it like this, right? Take a chance here or there. Shit, you might have 60 years. You might have until you 80. You might live until you 80. But I'm saying if you make those risks and take L's in your 40s and 50s, you might only have 20, 30 years to recover. And that may not, you're not going to have, that's another thing, right? Speaking from experience, right? I lived this. I'm old, I guess. Shit, I don't know. To you, how depending on how you are, but the energy is different, right? Your risk tolerance is different when you become, a certain age, and then once you, like I said, once you get a family and stuff like that. So and it's not even a fucking risk, really. To be honest, it's really what you need to do, right? Tech is proven, AI, automation, and then, like I said, the things that's going on with AI, it's even a bigger opportunity because AI is doing good, but it's doing bad at the same time, right? I think a lot of corporations are seeing like we need to have an AI implementation strategy. We got to work with AI, but we cannot replace people with AI. It just does not work that way. It does not work that way. You got to have people that know how to use AI and can maximize their efforts and productivity. That's kind of how AI and people work together. It's not going to be a replacement. It's not really like most AI implementations where they kind of just pulled out the human element altogether and just put AI. A lot of those implementations are failing pretty bad. So another thing is this: tech allows you not to be anchored to your hometown, anchored to where you live, anchored to a job, workplace. Now, you can work in a team, you can work at a physical workplace, but you can work wherever, man. Okay, say you grew up in Detroit, now you want to move to Nebraska because you're in the damn witness protection program. I don't know, no disrespect nobody in Nebraska, but I don't know why the hell you want to move there. Shout out to all my people in Nebraska. So the other thing is this. I lost my train of thought. Oh, back on the train. So you can work from Nebraska. You can work from Alaska. You can work from Germany. You can work from Africa. You can work from the beach. You can work in a cafe. You can work from wherever. Don't have to take a pay cut. You're going to get paid the exact amount of money. Because in tech is one of those fields for sure. You get paid for results, not necessarily the amount of time you spend on something, right? If you can finish something in 4 hours, it's supposed to take, and you still going to get paid for 8. Makes sense? So when it comes to that, remote work is like the dream for most people that's never worked remotely, right? And I have to be honest, working from home is cool, but it's not as big of a deal as you think it is. Just being honest, especially if I've seen a lot of times where if your environment is not set up to work from home, if your kids are there, noisy neighbors, bad internet connection, it could be all bad for you. But I think everybody should try it at least, once in their life. So a lot of companies honestly are pulling back from remote work. And one of the reasons is just because statistically, teams and people work together when they're physically together. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's just the truth, right? They just get things done quicker. They get a higher quality of work, and people just work better as a team when they're actually together. And one of the other things that a lot of companies want people to be in the office is because the retention, right? If you actually see people every day, build a bond, blah, 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 people are less likely to quit and move on, right? But if you just a name in a Slack chat or you just a name on a screen, people are more willing to get rid of you, right? So when it comes to remote work, there's still opportunities, especially if you're one of them ones. If you're really skilled, they'll let you work from home, man. It may not be 5 days a week, but 2 days a week, so on and so forth. And then I think that's a good mixture anyway. Is being at home sometime or working from wherever, and also being able to come in the office. So remote work, it's not dead. You just got to earn it. That's all it is, right? You got to really be on top of your stuff. So as of right now, according to Stack Overflow, 59% of tech workers still work remotely, either part time, and a lot of them are still full time working remotely. Right now, cloud and even cybersecurity roles are remote friendly, like super remote friendly, actually. So, long story short, you shouldn't be necessarily worrying about, am I going to be able to have a remote job or am I going to be in person? It's going to be taking those, and I don't even want to call it risk, but that's only a word I can think of right now. It's taking those opportunities to actually take advantage of this stuff. Right now you should be stacking, a bunch of skills or so much proof that the boss don't care where you at, because they know that you're going to do your job, right? So when it comes to tech, one of the biggest things, right? One of the hardest things is one, getting started, of course. And then once you do get started, okay, what lane should I choose, right? What lane should I choose? What should I do? Where should I go? The good news is no matter what lane you choose, you can always put on a turn signal and go into the other lane. You don't have to stay in one lane. But one thing I will say is that you do need to get started. So whether it's cybersecurity, which has like literally a high ass demand and millions of jobs that aren't filled, or you want to do networking, or you want to do cloud, right? Just pick a lane and then figure out what you need to do next. The thing I would say that you should do next after you pick a lane is get a specialized certification for that lane, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's networking or cloud. Each certification is going to unlock different roles, different pay scales, credibility, and just opportunities for you, right? Next thing I would say is just build a portfolio, right? Don't have to be pretty, don't have to be nice, but it has to have proof that you know how to do some stuff, right? So it also doesn't have to be from corporate, right? From an actual job. It could be from home labs, it could be from internships, it could be from your GitHub, it could be from simulations, right? Don't just tell employers how I can do XYZ. Actually show them that you can do it. Last but not least, just leverage different platforms, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, wherever you are, right? Start leveraging those platforms to show your skills, right? Whatever you can do, whatever you're working on, put it on those platforms. That way you can show people, hey, I know how to manage projects without supervisions. I'm doing this on my own. And that'll actually keep you top of mind when jobs come available, right? According to Global Knowledge, right? They did a report and it says that if you do get certifications, you will earn 15 to 20% more than people who don't have those certifications, right? So 20% more could be thousands or hundreds of $1,000s more than what you would have without it, right? The last thing I want to really hone in on is the mindset, right? So unfortunately, older people's mindset is kind of set in place. They're not as malleable. They're not as flexible when it comes to change, right? Now, you being in your 20s, this should be no problem for you, especially if whatever you're doing right now isn't working, right? And just understand, like, your 20s is not just about making money. It's more about gaining freedom, right? And putting in that time, putting in that work now, so you don't have to be one of these people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s trying to, scramble and figure it out. And remote work, it ain't just about like, being in your pajamas. It's about designing a life that you love, right? Designing a life that you don't really have to take a vacation from. Tech is kind of, the vehicle, but the certifications are the keys to that car, right, or to that vehicle. And then I would say like execution would be the premium gas that you need to get to where you want to get to. Me, right, and most people treated their 20s like it was going to last forever, like it was a practice round or something. You think that you can press restart, but you can't. 30 is going to come, 40 is going to come, 50 is going to come. Then it's going to be a wrap. You're going to be dead. Your 20s, is the one time in your life you can afford to take the risks that really can set you up for freedom, right? Tech is the shortcut. Certs can be part of your playbook, and remote work and high pay is really the prize. But even though you're in your 20s, you still don't have time, right? You need to have to move and execute with a sense of urgency. So just stop waiting for permission and just start building your own blueprint. Other than that, I'm Rob from itmastery.com, where we help people like you pass tech certifications, and all U.S. Army soldiers, whether you're in the reserves or National Guard, you train for absolutely free. Other than that, I'll see you in class.